Okay, hi, good morning. My name is Esti. We started Emess, must be 37, 38 years ago. Started it as a little company. Actually, we didn't start it, we bought it as a little company with about 15 cars. And over the years, we acquired other little companies nearby and we managed to build it up. We have almost 300 cars on our fleet now. And we're happy when we've got like 120, 130 cars working at any one time because we feel then we really have coverage everywhere and the drivers make their money and they're keeping busy. I know it's a big problem in our industry nowadays with Uber and other ride-hailing apps. Somehow we're a little bit more relaxed about it. We've been going for so many years. It's very much a service for the community and the locals know us. We have a lot of kids we take to school and therefore they want to go with somebody where they know they've got someone to come back to and that we're responsible in making sure the drivers we have are vetted and they're fine and they can send children with them. And we've had customers who've been with us almost since the very beginning. And we've built up a brilliant relationship with most of them. And the same is for the drivers. We've got drivers who've been with us for over 20 years, who've seen literally generations grow up. And they get very friendly. And it's a big difference. They said to us, when they come from Uber to us, that it's different as a type of work because you get to know your customers. It's not just picking up one person, you'll never see them again. And it changes their work and they really enjoy that. Okay. The biggest benefits of Super Yes from our side is that we don't have to say no when people call and they want a car. We've not said no to an airport pickup in the last 6 or 7 months. And we always used to refuse because we just didn't have enough cars to go out there and pick the people up. I found it was quite easy sending people to the airport, but the pickup was so much more difficult. And knowing that you've got 15 or 20 cars available at any airport who are just happy to pick up your fare, whether it's a 6-seater or whether it's an estate car, whether it's 4 o'clock in the morning or 12 in the afternoon, it doesn't make a difference. We now know we can accept any jobs we get through the phone and we can fulfill it and the customers are happy. And they really, really don't care if it's our drivers or anybody else's. As long as they're on time, they're friendly, they're courteous, and they get them to the right place at the right price, we're good. So we started job sharing many years ago because Cortex had a share pool for many, many years and we've used it quite extensively. But you never knew who was picking you up and you didn't know how reliable it was and there was no oversight. And since Cortex started Super Yes, this has changed totally. First of all, I don't have to rely only on fleets that are on Cortex. There are other fleets out there, for example, by the airports, where they are just brilliant. And I know when I get a job covered by this fleet, I don't have to worry about it. I send it to them, it's done. And because I know there's an oversight, and I know that Cordy checks with the fleet, make sure they do their jobs, make sure they don't refuse as many jobs as they used to, it's just become much, much more efficient. And I've got many more drivers. And the beauty with Super Yes is that I can make my own little circle and say, those are the 5 or 6 fleets which I'm really happy with. So I'd rather get those fleets to cover the work. If none of them are available, okay, I don't mind going further and giving to anybody else. So since Super Yes is here, the availability is much, much better. The quality of the drivers, I find, has changed as well. And we've really networked so much more with other fleets, whether they're on Cordic or not, that if I'm really stuck, I can pick up the phone or my controller picks up the phone and say, just help me out, even if they haven't got anybody nearby. It's just changed totally and we just work together. And years ago, you never saw that. You didn't have fleets working together because they felt, oh, they're going to take our customers away. There's no such thing nowadays. At the very beginning, my controllers found it very difficult to give their jobs away. It's very much a mentality of a controller. this is my job. I'm not going to give it away to anybody else. And it took quite a bit of education to help them understand that sending a car empty to the airport at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when it's going to take them 2 hours just to get there, so they come back with a 50 or 60 pound fare, it's just not, doesn't even pay for them. And it took a long time for them to appreciate and to understand that doing a whole lot of little jobs locally when it's really, really busy is better for the drivers, it's better for the customer. And if you have someone else who can do the job for you, let them do it. But it really took a lot of time to educate the staff to not just say, oh, sorry, I haven't got a car. I said, what do you mean you don't have a car? Chuck it in the pool. You've got their phone number. If after 10 minutes you really haven't managed to cover, you can always call back. I'm really sorry. It's very, very busy. Do you want to give us another 10 minutes and we'll find you somebody else?
And how did you get comfortable with putting your reputation with your customers in other things' hands?
Very often we get phone calls from customers afterwards to say where they were very delighted to see they were picked up so quickly, even though it was nowhere near our base. And when we actually mentioned to them, we're working together with other companies, there isn't an issue with it. They don't care if it's Emess car service or if it's anybody else. As long as they're being picked up on time, it's fine. And people in the beginning used to say, oh, no, I don't want another driver picking my customer, because they'll start carding, they'll ask them to use a different company. I mean, nowadays it's easy enough for anybody to pick up their phone and to book an Uber. So I haven't got that worry whatsoever that somebody else will try and pinch my customers. So it's brilliant when it comes to out-of-area jobs. I mean, for example, we have an optician which is in Potter's Bar, and loads of people from here go there. They're specialists. And we had it the other day where a customer calls and I saw there was a job on the screen from one of our drivers to go and pick them up. And I said to them, but it's going to take about 30 minutes to pick them up. And my controller said, yeah, but I told them it'll be 30 minutes. They were fine. So I said, stop. Put the job into the pool. Happens to be there's a taxi rank right next to the optician, within a half a minute's walk, literally. And the customer was picked up and dropped off back home within the 30 minutes. And since then, there's no such thing. I mean, whoever calls from that optician, we just throw it into the pool because we know there's always somebody there. So that makes a massive difference. And then on the other hand, when my driver goes to the airport one way, he very often then manages to pick up an airport job. Even if it doesn't take him back to our base, he doesn't care. So he goes into the West End or somewhere else, but he doesn't have the dead mileage. So they're delighted with those jobs. It was quite difficult to start off with and explain to the team that, yes, Emess is not making a penny on that job because it's a cash job and 100% of the money goes into the driver's pocket. But on the other hand, if we keep on saying no, they won't try us again and they'll use somebody else. So yes, I may have thrown 60 airport jobs, literally 60 airport jobs in the last 2 days into the pool, and I haven't made a penny on it. But I bet you when they come back from their holiday, they'll call Emess again. And if we have a driver, obviously, we will cover the job. So it took time, it just took time from the operator side, from the telephonist side, to understand it doesn't matter if we don't make anything on it. It builds up our service, our reputation, our efficiency, and everybody's happy. Our controller, especially our main controller, he loves it. Honestly, he ever so often he says, I know I was very much against it to start off with. It makes his life just so much easier. He looks ahead, and the secret really is not just to throw your jobs into the pool when you're late, because the drivers don't want to do late jobs, and then they get there and they don't get a pickup. But he looks ahead and he can see he's going to be busy. He's going to have a couple of jobs picking up from the airport or from the West End. He's not sure yet whether we can actually cover it. He throws it into the pool. SUPS covers it. and he doesn't need to worry about those jobs, and he can concentrate on other things in the business. Since we started the Super Yes, everything's changed. I know a lot of people may worry, should we start? Should we share? Should we throw jobs into the pool? Do our drivers want to cover other people's work? It's cut out dead mileage, something unbelievable. Our drivers are happier, our customers are happier. Super Yes is an absolute game changer. And you've got a brilliant team at Cordic that help you set it up and handhold you to start off with. It's great.
And how would you suggest those fleet owners engage with their staff to get their heads around this idea of giving work away?
Okay. I think at the very beginning, when you start Super Yes, as a fleet owner, you will have quite a job, to be honest. You'll have quite a job to educate your office, your controllers, your telephonists, not just to say, don't have a car, don't have the car, sorry, nothing today, nothing next hour. You've got to teach them to look at it as a tool in your box, and it's a brilliant tool, and to stop and say, hold on, perhaps I can cover that job, and take the work and try and cover it, not just with my driver, but anybody else. And people argue, okay, but you know what, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody's busy, who is going to cover it? But if my driver just dropped in the West End, he can help somebody else out, because I haven't got any use for him, because it'll take him another 45 minutes to get back. So yes, although it's busy, very often I can manage to cover work at a busy time where everybody is busy, because the driver just happens to be in the right place. Most of our drivers, or let's say at the beginning anyway, they said, oh, it's not our job, I don't want to do it. And I said, what's the difference? Whether a customer calls and books it through the phone or through an app, it's my job, jolly well do that job. So it took time for them to understand it's just part of their repertoire and they're busy. And we've had this before when a driver said, oh, there's much less airport work now, I'm not going so much to the airport anymore. And I say to them, possibly, but were you busy? And they'll say yes. So I said, instead of making £45 in 2.5 hours, you do 10 locals at £5.50 minimum to start off with. You got less mileage, you're keeping busy, you're keeping the company busy, because you've now serviced 10 different customers I didn't have to say no to. And some of the jobs are priced better than ours, and they're absolutely delighted. So people ask me, how difficult or how easy is it to share work, to put jobs in, to take the jobs out? First of all, taking jobs out, I don't even see it. My controller doesn't see it, because the job comes in, the system finds the nearest driver with the right attributes, and it's gone. And very often my controller says, hey, where's that driver gone? I needed him for something else. Too late. That job is gone. So from the side of us covering work for somebody else, we don't even see that. If it's pre-books, that's different. It then flashes up on my screen, and my controller can then usually accept it or say, no, it's really, I can't cover that job, and send it straight back so it goes to somebody else. With regards to sending the jobs out, we have set up various plots where we say, in these plots, I actually don't want a job automatically going to Super Yes after 3 or 4 minutes when I don't have a driver, for example, an airport. Because I know I've got a bit longer time to play around with the airport and see if I want to cover it myself. But then if after a few minutes I can see, hold on, that's going to be a difficult job to cover, or I don't have a driver nearby, I throw it into the pool, and it's literally pressing a Super Yes button and it's in there. Most of our controllers have got one Cordic screen open, just with all the Super Yes jobs. So they can see exactly what's going on, which job is waiting to be accepted, which one is accepted. The customer is already POB with the Super Yes driver, and it's really, really easy to keep an eye on it. So I was invited to a meeting, a networking meeting, I think it was almost a year ago now, in northwest London. And we were talking about Super Yes, and I met a few fleets there. And from there, we've developed relationships with other fleets, not even Cordic fleets. And it's just really, really working well. And I think anybody who's considering Super Yes, come speak to us, see how it works in real life. And I'd be delighted to show you around. And it's just a no-brainer. It really is. We're delighted with Super Yes. It's the way forward. It's the way to network. It's the way to keep our drivers happy, our customers happy. And we make extra money on it as well.